Hello everybody and welcome back to Dino Camp 2020. For this activity in this video, we're going to be making your very own Acrocanthosaurus mask. So, before we make our mask and make our craft, we're going to talk a little bit about Acro and another dinosaur that probably looks very similar to Acro. So I'm sure a lot of you probably know it's T-Rex. So, like I said, Acrocanthosaurus and T-Rex look a whole lot alike. They're very similar, but there's some key differences that make them obviously not the same animal. So we'll go through those one by one, and then I'll show you guys how to make the craft. Our first difference is that they actually lived at different times. So both of them lived during the Cretaceous period. Which, if you're confused about that, we'll have another lesson on different time periods, the Cretaceous period specifically tomorrow. So we'll learn a little bit more about that. But like I said, they both lived during the Cretaceous period. However, Acrocanthosaurus actually lived earlier than the T-Rex. So Acrocanthosaurus lived in the early Cretaceous period, but Tyrannosaurus lived during the late Cretaceous period. So, moving on from that, another difference between the two is that they had a little bit different body types from each other. So, most of you know what a T-Rex's body type looked like. Acrocanthosaurus actually looked very, very similar, with one exception. They had a muscle structure or a sail kind of looking thing on their back, which they don't exactly know which one for sure it was, since they haven't found one intact, obviously. But that muscle structure made Acrocanthosaurus look a little bit different in the body. And then our final difference today has to do with their front claws. So when you're looking at the front claws of an Acro and a T-Rex, T-Rex only has two front claws. Two, not four, two, sorry. And then Acrocanthosaurus has three. So those are a few of the main differences to help you tell the two apart. So without further ado, we'll get to our craft. So, all right, so for this activity, I'll start by showing you what all you're gonna need. So you're going to need your mask worksheet, which you can see here. For those of you who were able to buy a packet, these are included in your packet. If you weren't able to get a packet, we're also posting these online on our social media page and also on our museum website page. So you'll be able to download that and print your own if you weren't able to get a packet. You will also need a little piece of elastic. You'll need a pair of scissors. You'll need something to color with, basically. You can use markers, you can use colored pencils or crayons, whichever you prefer. And then you'll also need a hole punch or something to poke holes in your paper once you're getting ready to tie off your mask. So we'll get started here. The first thing you're gonna do is you're going to color your mask worksheet. So you'll just have it like this, and you can use, like I said, you can use crayons, you can use markers, you can use colored pencils, whatever you want to use. Just get creative and make it your own. So I've already got one that I've colored in here. Like I said, everyone's will be different. So once you're done coloring it, the next thing you're gonna wanna do is cut it out. So you'll cut around all the outside. Make sure that you do not cut off these little white flaps right here, because this is what you're gonna use to tie your elastic with once you're done with the cutting it out. So you'll cut all around the outside, leaving those attached. Okay, so like I said, I've already cut this out to save time, but I will show you guys how to cut out the eyes, because that's what we're gonna do next. And the eyes can get kind of difficult because they're in the center of the paper, but I'm gonna show you a really easy way to get those out pretty quickly. So we're gonna take our scissors, and the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of gently fold the edge here right along the middle of the dotted line. So it'll kind of be like in a triangle on each side. And then what you're gonna do is just take your scissors and just start to cut along one side of the dotted line. And that'll just give you a hole. Once you open it back up, it gives you a little hole to put your scissors in to keep cutting. So I'm just gonna pop these out really quick. Yeah, see? So it just falls right out there. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Make sure you notice that I did not crease that very hard. So when you roll it out, it still is nice and flat. So basically just do the same thing on the other side. And cut down your dotted line a little ways, and then unfold it and keep cutting. Yeah, so see, super easy, and that gives you some eye holes to see out of. All right, so the next part of what we're gonna do is attaching the elastic. Get that out of the way. So you're gonna use your hole punch or your pen or your pencil. That will probably be the easiest thing, just to make a couple little holes. But what you're gonna do is take it right here and just poke a hole right there. You might not go all the way through the first time, so you can just tear that off. And you're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And again, you can just tear that right off. All right, so now we've got 2 holes on either side for our elastic to go through. So now we're gonna take our elastic and we're just gonna tie knots on either side of your mask. And this is what's gonna hold it on to your head. Oop. So you'll just knot it, if I can get it to go. Just knot it a couple times, I would probably say, just enough to hold it there. All right, so there it is on one side. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And like I said, you don't need a whole lot of elastic, just enough to go around your head and hold it tight. Finish this one off here. All right, so the last thing that I'm gonna do is, just to make this look a little neater, I'm gonna clip off the edges like that. Okay, and you've got yourself a dino mask, so you can just wrap it around your head, put it on, and it'll look fantastic. So that is all that I have for you guys for this craft. So I hope you guys enjoyed making these. And we do hope that you would use our hashtag. It's hashtag MOTRR DinoCamp 2020. So share those pictures on Facebook. Let us see what you're doing, how you're following along with us, because we love to see that. It motivates us and helps us stay encouraged throughout this very different time for the museum. So yeah, keep sharing, keep giving us feedback. We really appreciate it all. So thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your days.